Football News presents today's Sports Report with Matthew Hall. On today's Sports Report, we'll talk about University of Georgia football and more. Today's Sports Report is brought to you by Happy Sewing and Quilting, offering products that will help you show your bulldog pride. Hall Shots Photography, going above and beyond to provide pristine and professional photography for all of life's greatest moments, plus many other fine sponsors. And now, here's your host of today's Sports Report, Chris Hall.
Well, how is everybody doing on a Friday afternoon? I'm Chris Hall, your host for today's Sports Report with Matthew Hall. And as you can see, Matthew Hall is not with us, at least visibly. He is with us, of course, on the phone. We'll be talking to Matthew in just a moment. So here's what we want to do, guys, on a Friday. It's Friday, you know. Everybody's trying to get off work, get out of town, go somewhere, do something after a long, hard week of work. But we want you to send us some questions, some chats, some comments. You can do that right now. And we'll be talking some things about University of Georgia and the Bulldogs. And if you want to have your 2 cents worth in, well, you can certainly do it. So give us a comment right now. We can read all that stuff. If you have a question, if you have a comment about the Bulldogs and what will be happening in Bulldog country coming up in the coming season, we'll be happy to answer your questions. Our answers may not exactly be always the right thing, but they're good. They're good answers. And we have on the phone with us today, we have this young man deployed in the field, as they say, and it's Matthew Hall. And Matthew, how you doing, my man?
Hey, hanging in there. How's everybody doing today? Great to be with everyone today. Hope everybody's having a good day today so far.
Yeah. Well, you know, you love dogs so much, the Bulldogs so much, that you're on dog duty today, which is kind of cool. But no Bulldog in sight, right? No Bulldog around, right?
No, yeah, doing some little dog duty today, but no actual Bulldog in sight, no other sighting or anything of that nature, but so still exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, I know. So Matthew joining with us, and he can't see me. His computer's on the fritz, but I'm holding up a beautiful picture of Matthew right there. And actually, it looks like that little bobblehead Bulldog you got, Matthew. You know that thing? There we go. We got it. All right. So yeah. All right. So we have some folks joining us. Matthew Lester on with us. He says, I'm looking forward to the Dogs beating Clemson.
Yeah.
And I'm right there with you, Matthew Lester. You know, and we're going to talk about that. It's coming up on September the 4th in Charlotte, North Carolina. Is this one of those like, has it got kind of like a sponsor name, like the Frito-Lay first game of the season or something? Do you know anything about that, Matthew? Or is this just one of those ESPN specials? What do you think? What is this? What is it? Why are we playing Clemson?
I'm sure it'll have a name attached to it. I appreciate Matthew Lester with the comment there too. I'm, looking forward to Georgia playing Clemson as well. First game of the season. I mean, really important game for Georgia. I think much more important game for Georgia than it is for Clemson.
Yeah.
In the aspect that, if Georgia, were to lose, it makes the road a little bit, pretty tough. Whereas if Clemson loses to us, I mean, they get to play over in the SEC, or ACC rather. No disrespect to the ACC or anyone over there, but Clemson, with their talent level, I mean, it's just there's a big gap in between there, and so looking at that, I think the game's a lot. I think the implications of that game are far more important for Georgia than they are for Clemson. Appreciate Matthew Lester with the comment, though, and for chiming in.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah, go Dogs. And, of course, Clemson now, if they're playing in the ACC, and as you say, no disrespect to the ACC, but it's not SEC quality or caliber of football teams from top to bottom. Now, you got some, decent teams in the ACC, I guess. But if Clemson can knock off Georgia in that first game of the season, then you got to like their chances of going undefeated. If Georgia, on the other hand, knocks off Clemson, in which we fully expect that to happen, then Georgia's schedule is, it's kind of friendly for the Bulldogs. Of course, you got Arkansas or Auburn rather in there, and you got Florida in there, and you do have Arkansas, a much improved team, hanging in the schedule for the Bulldogs, and so. I look for the Bulldogs to beat Clemson. That's my hope. That's my desire. That's what I'm thinking. I think Kirby Smart will have the guys ready to roll, and understanding that it's a critical game. If you knock off Clemson, you can run the table. Perhaps, hopefully, you can run the table, get into the SEC championship, and then you probably will be facing an Alabama team that might be undefeated, though Alabama has some interesting games with Miami in the first game of the season, and another one of those early season matchups that are pretty interesting. And then, of course, Alabama will be traveling to Florida, to Gainesville, to play against Florida a little later on in the season. So, it could be interesting. Now, guys, we'd love for you to chime in with your comments or your questions or whatever. One of these days, we're working on getting our audio up and going so people can call in and ask questions, and that'll be kind of interesting. But we'd love for you to chime in and ask us what in the world's going on with the UGA Bulldogs. And I guess the next big thing, of course, we have the spring training, I guess you call it, or spring practice drills, 14 of them coming up pretty soon. And then after that, the 14th practice will actually be the G-Day spring scrimmage. And that'll be coming up April the 17th in Athens. And in Athens, of course. And here's the details we know about that. Fans will be allowed in the stadium for the G-Day spring game. However, of course, obviously, it's going to be limited. And I understand, it's going to be kind of limited to season ticket holders and maybe those who have made some pretty good contributions to the athletic fund. And so you reward people who do that with the opportunity to get into the game. It's certainly not going to be what it's been in the past before pre-pandemic, when you would have, oh my goodness, you'd have 90,000 folks sitting in the stands for the spring game. But it's coming up April 17th. Should be very, very interesting. Glued to the TV set, I'm sure, will be the Clemson coaching staff, as Georgia will be watching Clemson's spring game as well. So, Matthew, you've been on site for past G-Day spring scrimmage games. And by the way, Kirby, if you're listening, the Today Sports Report would like to have some access to the G-Day game if we can get it. Beg. But anyway, Matthew, you've been there for a G-Day spring scrimmage. It's quite a show, isn't it? A lot of fun, a lot of noise, music, families are together. Pretty good show, right?
Yeah, I mean, G-Day is, it's a special time of the year, for University of Georgia fans, and it really is. The spring game at Georgia, it is it's a tradition each year. I mean, it's something that Georgia fans look forward to each and every April, and as we head into the new college football season, and it's really the last football action you'll get to see until September comes and the season begins. And so it's I've been blessed enough to be on this earth and be able to be in the stands watching many a game, and then I've been on the sidelines at G-Day games. As a photographer, I mean, both ways. So, I've experienced it both ways. I've been blessed to be able to do that. But it is truly an experience like none other. I mean, it's a split inter-squad game. I mean, you have red versus black. And the guys on the team, I mean, they take it seriously because a lot of them are actually fighting for positions and for playing time. Through that last, because that's really the last live game type action, at least the closest to game type action that the coaches will see, of the players, other than when fall camp practice and scrimmages like that, show up. So it is a big deal at the University of Georgia, and it is something that seems to me would be ever growing even more important for the young players, especially with the core of players that Kirby and the staff have brought in. And you got a lot of guys, you got a lot of depth at a lot of positions, and it gives Kirby an opportunity to see some of those guys in a live game type atmosphere. And so it's not just hey, we'll show up and put a warm body out there, and hey, the fans will be happy and we'll all go home. No, the teams they play it as if though it was a real game versus a real opponent. I mean, of course, you're going against your own teammates, so that would make the competition even a little tougher, in my own opinion. So it's a battle out there, and it's been one that's been great to see year in and year out, and we'll especially be excited to see it this time with JT Daniels and coming back and really the anticipation of really what could possibly be a very, very good Georgia football season.
Yeah, we're Georgia now. All the prognostications that I can see, Georgia's in at least the top 5 in almost everyone's preseason rankings. And, of course, that's kind of lofty there. Some have Georgia as high as number 1. A couple of polls have Georgia as high as number 1. So, but, the game, the football games are not played in the polls. They're played on the field. And so it's going to be an interesting season. So G-Day game is coming up for April the 17th. And again, you more than likely, if you haven't got a notification, you're going to be allowed in the stands for G-Day game by now. Well, you're going to be like, a lot of people watching it on television, but it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun to watch. And as we anticipate what's coming up in the coming season. By the way, we want to take just a moment to thank someone who really supports us in a great way. His name is Mike Ratliff. Now, Mike Ratliff is a friend of mine and he's a friend of Matthew's. He's been a good friend of ours in a lot of ways. One of the ways that he's a good friend for us is that he has helped us with health insurance. Now, we're in weird times. When it comes to health insurance, it's just, well, what do you do? Is this the right coverage? Where do I need to go? What do I need? And it's just almost a jungle out there, to quote a song. But let me tell you, if you're looking for health insurance, and by the way, you may not know this, but the health insurance marketplace is open for business right now. Now, usually that happens toward the end of the year, but there is a special opening right now in the health insurance marketplace where you can get coverage now. If you don't have coverage, health insurance coverage, you can get coverage now through the health insurance marketplace. And if you have coverage and you don't like it, or it's not meeting your needs or the needs of your family, you can change your coverage right now. You may not have known that. I hadn't heard really a lot about it, but Mike Ratliff, our good friend at the Ratliff Insurance Agency, Ratliff Agency has told us that that's going on right now. So if you're in Georgia and you're looking for health insurance and you want some help and you just need somebody to know what they're talking about and someone who will listen to you and get you the best coverage, let me give you a number to call. I'll give you just a couple of seconds there to get a pin. There you got it. It's 1-888-689-8311. 1-888-689-8311. That's Mike Ratliff of the Ratliff Agency. Call him. Tell him what you need. He'll listen to you. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. He knows this stuff. My goodness, he knows this stuff. And he'll help you and your family to get the coverage you need. You can also send him an email at ratl@windstream.net. And Mike Ratliff, we appreciate him and the help that he has been to us personally here at Today's Sports Report in getting the right coverage for us. And we appreciate Mike so very much.
Definitely.
Yeah. And
definitely.
Yeah, we got comments. Someone's asking where did I get my G hat? Well, I mean, it is spiffy, to be honest with you. It is spiffy. And, but I forgot where I got this thing. Somewhere down the line in one of those stores, I came across the hat. I don't wear it outside very much as it's not faded, as people can see. But of course, I like my G hat. And Matthew, you have a collection of G hats as well. Hey, what is that thing that is on your Instagram page? What is that that dog stadium looking bed thing. Tell me, what is that thing? What are you doing with that?
Well, it's a company we did sponsorship giveaway with, and that's actually a pet bed that is made for a pet. And we did a giveaway of that on our page. And had a lot of feedback from that, and had a lot of people really draw a lot of attention with that with that particular bed. I mean, the company that sponsored that for us is Stadium Spot, and really cool bed too.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it was nice. Now, your Instagram page, your football Instagram page has over 12,000 followers on that page. Is that right?
We're sitting at 112,000 at the moment, and been blessed to have that, and it's grown tremendously. Been fortunate enough to have it grow throughout the process as well, which is kind of course, everyone wants to, anybody that's involved with this will tell you it's tough to grow an Instagram page and things of that nature. So I've been very blessed to have that. And right now I think we have just over 112,000.
Yeah.
What we have.
Yeah. So if you're a Bulldog fan, you need to go to that page. How would they find it on Instagram?
Yes, at the handle is at UGA Football News with an S at the end. UGA Football News, all together, lowercase, all the words together, at UGA Football News. And it's on Instagram. And of course, we have our accompanying, and partner Facebook page, and then we have Twitter, our Twitter account. Of course, we have YouTube as well. And then, of course, we have our Today Sports Report, website, and of course that links to all of our different platforms that we're on. And so been blessed to have a good network of social media sites and places to go out there where people can reach us. And I really appreciate all the support and love along the way as well. And couldn't be in the position I am without you guys.
Yeah, and good stuff. Check it out. Okay, let's run down the schedule for Georgia next year. Of course, we're way ahead of schedule. We're looking at the schedule. Clemson's the first game, September the 4th. So it's in Charlotte. Hopefully, the Bulldogs will take care of business. Then we play University of Alabama at Birmingham, a decent team for their classification of football. Last year had a decent season. That'll, of course, will be in Athens, hopefully, and not too hopeful, but hopefully it would be before a packed house at Sanford Stadium. It's probably not going to quite be the case, at least for that early in the season. But it could be. Who knows? So UAB, we should take care of the Blazers, don't you think? We should handle the Blazers, all right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Georgia will certainly handle the table with really. I think if Georgia can get past what we were talking about earlier with getting past Clemson, I really don't believe Georgia can be will be beat. I know that's a big statement. I mean, we hear it here. I mean, I've said it all the years. I said it when we had Stafford and Moreno and AJ Green, and it didn't happen. And it goes back to where we're talking about pre rankings and things like that. I mean, I'm not for being ranked number one, but I just feel like it's different this time. I don't think that the mindset of JT Daniels, I don't think his mindset is worried about whether or not he's ranked number one. I think he's got a good opportunity to be a Joe Burrow type, have a Joe Burrow type season, and in terms of growth. I'm not saying that Georgia will have a LSU type season, but I think that there is a possibility that you could see a lot of growth from JT Daniels. And he transferred just like, if you go back and look at Joe Burrow, a lot of his growth was when transfer, that transfer occurred. And so I think that JT Daniels does have a good opportunity to have a lot of grace. And of course, the benefactor of that, of course, would be the Georgia Bulldogs and our football program. But I think the other players, I think he's got a good vibe. And I think that rubs off and has rubbed off already on the players that are around him. I think he just makes everybody around him that much better.
Yeah, we've had Rusty Manziel from 247sports.com with us, and Mike Farrell from Rivals.com. And one of the things that they have impressed upon us about the Georgia team coming up is the quarterback room. Boy, it's a nice looking quarterback room with some young guys in there, and that's going to be interesting. And the defensive backfield has been a problem, or been an issue of concern anyway. Maybe not a problem, but I think that's been shored up a lot. So we're really anticipating that. I look down the schedule. We have South Carolina after UAB. And, South Carolina is just really down unless, Georgia just really, and that's in Athens. So unless Georgia just really tanks, they should beat South Carolina. Then they'll travel to Vanderbilt and should take care of Vanderbilt. Arkansas then comes to Athens. Arkansas, a good season last season, surprising season. They're pretty good. And so that might be a decent game. Auburn at Auburn. That'll be interesting. But Auburn, losing their coach and, issues there. And then Kentucky, Florida then at Jacksonville on October the 30th. That probably is going to be the toughest game for Georgia after Clemson. Don't you think? The Gators in Jacksonville, Florida will not have the team they had last year. I just don't see how that's possible.
No,
but,
yeah, Florida, I definitely don't believe it will be the same Florida team, as last season. I mean, they're losing a lot. They're losing quarterback. I mean, they're in rebuild mode in a lot of areas. And so that's a plus for Georgia. The bad part about that's the plus. The bad part is, they do have plenty of games to play before they play Georgia, to find a good rhythm together.
Yeah.
And so, it's kind of hard to tell really with Florida. I want to say on paper, I mean, Georgia looks, I still believe Georgia will win either way. But I'm not quite sure what kind of game Florida will be versus Georgia this season as of yet. Still yet to be determined.
Yeah,
I do know. Just want to throw, and I do want to throw in, one thing I learned just it's breaking news not very long ago at all, about 30 minutes ago. Georgia, did have a wide receiver enter the transfer portal, and that's Tommy Bush. And now he would have been 247 Sports, Jake Rowe, and our friends over there, and with Rusty Manziel and all, they broke this story about 30 minutes ago. He would have been a graduate transfer, and he will be a graduate transfer no matter where, even if he does not end up staying to play with the Dogs. He did have some, he got that, he had some bad luck. I mean, since he redshirted in 2018, missing nearly all of last year with a sports hernia. And then in 2019, he only appeared in one game.
Yeah.
Had one reception in the win over Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Then he was involved in a car accident last October, where he, suffered a bad concussion in the process. So, he's going to be, apparently it looks as if he'll be moving on as a graduate transfer into the portal. And so if he does indeed decide to move on, wish him luck, wherever he ends up, wish him well wherever he may end up.
Yeah, from what we can understand, a fine young man too, just a good quality young man. He's wanting to play football, and we understand that he's had some tough luck as far as injuries are concerned with his career at the University of Georgia. After Florida, Georgia will take on Missouri. Now Missouri, a much improved team from last year, so that'll be interesting. Then we have Tennessee, which is I don't know what in the world. Tennessee. Speaking of the transfer portal. Did I see correctly? Tennessee had 30 players enter into the transfer portal from their team last year. Now, 30 players opting out of the University of Tennessee program. And boy, that's tough.
Yeah,
so, that's
a lot.
That's amazing. Then Georgia has Charleston Southern, which you say, well, that's going to be an easy game. But Charleston Southern had a very good team last year. And in fact, knocked off a couple of schools that would be considered major schools. And so not a bad team. And then, of course, the good old-fashioned hate rivalry is back with Georgia Tech on November the 27th. And we missed the Georgia Tech game last year. So that's a look at the Georgia schedule for next year. So we're going to get past Clemson. We're going to run the table. We're going to go in the SEC championship undefeated. We're going to take on Alabama, and we're going to hope we win. We're going to hope we win, right?
I know, right?
Oh,
yeah, boy. That sounds like a good plan. I mean, if it works out that way, I will, I can foresee it working out that way. And if it does happen to work out that way, I mean, I will jump up and down. I mean, I think every Georgia fan pretty much believes it, that, we're going to see Bama. If we, in the SEC championship, if it be us there.
Yeah.
If we're there, I think there's no question it will be Alabama. I mean, they, had a killer recruiting class this time. I mean,
amazing.
They just keep reloading.
Yeah.
And I don't look for Alabama really to get much of a beat from last season and on into this one.
No, I'm starting a petition to get Nick Saban to the NFL. The man really, okay, how many national championships do you need before you prove that you're, the best coach in college football? Let's try the NFL again. He was the coach for the Miami Dolphins some years ago before he left LSU, went to Miami in the NFL, then back to Alabama. And so I think he needs to try that NFL thing again. Just a phenomenal job. Of course, and our good buddy Tim Ferguson loves to. He's our Bama guy. He's our Bama expert. He loves to rub it in. But we're gonna get him. We're gonna get even with him. By the way, we're being told to wear a mask. If you go outside, you go in the public, go around, folks. You need to wear your mask. And of course, you don't want to wear old plain Jane looking thing mask. You want to go out and in style, and especially you want to go out sometimes showing your Bulldog pride. One of our great sponsors, and we love these folks, is Happy Sewing and Quilting. Now, they have a new website. All right, everybody ready? You ready? Remember this, happysewingandquilting.com. That's it, Happy, Happy, happysewingandquilting.com. You can go to their website, and you'll find you can order Georgia Bulldog themed mask there. And not only those kind of face mask, but also other kinds of face mask as well, with other kind of different kinds of themes to them. And you can even special order one. You can send them an email, say, hey, I'd like a mask with a train on it. And they'll do their very best to try to find some fabric with a train on it. Anyway, these are good quality masks. They're beautiful, well, handmade, hand sewn, made with loving care. They're shipped out to you. And if you're a Bulldog and you want to show your Bulldog pride, there's a lot of places where you can get Bulldog themed masks. But I promise you, you won't get any masks that are any better than those made at Happy Sewing and Quilting. So go to happysewingandquilting.com. By the way, they are quilters, and you'll see a couple of pictures of some beautiful quilts. Hey, if you're a Bulldog fan and you want a University of Georgia inspired quilt, that's what I'm talking about. Quilt. You can go to happysewingandquilting.com, send them an email, say, hey, can you make a quilt for me? A Georgia Bulldog themed quilt. They'll give you some prices, tell you what it will entail. They'll get details from you, and they will put it together, deliver it, and you'll be tickled red, not pink, red. You'll be tickled red and black when you get your University of Georgia inspired quilt. We know those folks at Happy Sewing and Quilting. We love them, don't we, Matthew? Great folks, right?
Yeah, we do. I actually have several Bulldogs masks myself from them, and just do really, they just really do great work. I mean, yeah, there's all kind of masks out there, and these are handmade one by one. I mean, they're great quality, and the other products they make, are great quality as well.
Yeah. So you'll love them. Check it out. HappySewingAndQuilting.com. And by the way, you may not know this about Matthew Hall of today's Sports Report with Matthew Hall, but he is a number one professional photographer and videographer. And if you want to see some of his beautiful work, Hall Shots Photography, you can on Facebook. Matthew, tell folks how they can see your wonderful, beautiful work. I mean, just amazing and stunning pictures and videos that you've taken. Where can folks find those kind of things?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page, Hall Shots Photo, and then it's Hall Shots Photography on Instagram. So also have those pages where we have some of the. Of course, there's some Bulldog photography on there, but there's a lot of other photography type stuff on there as well.
And some absolutely beautiful shots of Uga. I mean, if you're not a dog guy or gal, when you see Uga from these shots that Matthew have taken on the sidelines of the University of Georgia, you're going to fall in love with one of those, and you're going to be like Matthew is. I want one of those dogs.
Yeah, so he is a beautiful dog.
Yes, he's ugly. He's beautiful. Yeah. So there you go. All right. Well, it's about time for us to wrap up our program. But by the way, I have an Atlanta Braves themed mask from Happy Sewing and Quilting. And speaking of that, spring training games, I think all the players now have reported. We love the Bulldogs, but we're also fans of other sports as well. And so the Braves are in spring training. Go Braves! I saw Bryce Harper, the guy we love to hate, who plays for Philadelphia now. He says that all 5 teams in the National League Eastern Division are great teams, and it's going to be the toughest division in baseball. And I agree with that. It's going to be, this is going to be fun. The Braves have reloaded some, got some good players from last year coming back. Of course, they've signed some players as well. But as we say, go Dogs. We also say, Matthew, go Braves, right? We love our Braves.
That's right. And I mean, it won't be long. Baseball will be back in style. I mean, the Braves, a few off-season moves, re-signed not Acuna, but
Osuna. Yeah, Osuna.
So there's a lot of positive things going on back in Atlanta. For the upcoming baseball season. Look forward to it.
Yeah. So we Matthew and I, we have some stories we can tell you about our experiences with the Atlanta Braves. Maybe one of these days, we'll tell you that. Also, of course, out of the world of sports, we love golf. We're golfers. I'm a goofy golfer. I love golf. We were, very saddened to hear about the situation with Tiger Woods and the accident that he's had. He's been moved to a different hospital, and he's in rehab now. Tiger, for a lot of people, he's one of those golfers they love to hate. There's some things maybe about Tiger that you're not crazy about, but he's a great golfer, and he's mellowing as a human being, I understand. But he's a great talent. You're just absolutely great talent, and we don't want to see anybody down. And so we want Tiger to come back and maybe we'll have Tiger on our show one day. That'd be cool, wouldn't it, Matthew? Yeah,
that would be cool. Probably won't happen, but it would be cool. And,
he would want to talk about the Stanford Cardinal.
It is terrible what happened with him. Wish him well.
Yeah, bless his heart. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our program today, and we're glad to have you with us on a Friday afternoon. Now, guys, listen, as you go out and about tonight, having your Friday night out on the town, maybe, please be careful out there. We love you, and we want you to be around for us. And of course, we love our Bulldogs. We're going to keep you up to date of what is happening with the University of Georgia. We're going into spring practice. Should be a good time for the Bulldogs. A lot of good talent coming back. So, Matthew, we're going to wrap it up for today, and your final word for us is
go Dogs.
Go Dogs. And we hold up our little Uga and our other thing here. Or bobblehead thing. All right. Well, thank you for being with us today here on today's Sports Report with Matthew Hall. And until next time, hey, be careful out there and God bless you.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of today's Sports Report with Matthew Hall. We thank our many fine sponsors for making our program possible. Be sure to join us for our next program as we keep you up to date with University of Georgia football and more. Until then, be safe and go Dogs.